Houston at 4-7 needs badly to go on a win streak. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Don Crickey with Bob Golick, a guy who looks big enough to have played in the NFL. In fact, he did very well for 14 years and spent much of the time chasing John Elway.
And not catching him. So if the Broncos really need somebody to get them through this last hump in the season, getting into the playoffs, John Elway's the guy. He scares defenses. Coming off a concussion a couple of weeks ago, hopefully he'll be back up to form.
But he's not the only weapon. The sensational rookie runner Terrell Davis stepping up with big numbers like last week against the Chargers.
Right, 176 yards last week. And I'll tell you what, if you're going to take some pressure off of John Elway's passing game, you're going to do it with this guy, Terrell Davis.
Meanwhile, the Houston Oilers have been on a run of bad luck. You expect luck to swing both ways during the course of a long season. They can't get a break. It is a team that's much better than their 4-7 record, but this is their season a week ago in microcosm.
Well, it's happened a few other times, but here Todd McNair losing a fumble picked up by Mark Collins, changing the outcome of this game for the Houston Oilers. They felt 2 or 3 plays has cost them 3 victories.
Jeff Fisher, the NFL's youngest head coach at 37, is very proud of this team, though. He says, we're still together. We have good chemistry. He thinks they can go on a win streak.
I'll tell you what, seeing those guys at practice, they're very, very loose. This is the guy that has really been the glue to keep that team together.
And Denver, as we look at his head coach of the Broncos, Mike Shanahan, his team has just won the toss, and they will receive to start the game. He spent 2 years with the 49ers with Jeff Fisher. He was actually with the 49ers as offensive coordinator over a 3-year period when the 49ers had the highest scoring teams in NFL history, averaged 470 points a season. They're very good friends. Jeff Fisher, the defensive specialist, and it reflects in his team, Bob. They're the 4th-rated defense in the NFL.
Right, and one of the things that he's had to deal with has been a lot of injuries defensively, especially in the defensive front, and we'll see that perhaps being a factor here today, but Jeff Fisher really being a student of the defense, brought in some guys to help him out, and then we'll see that hopefully he'll be able to react. You see one of the major injuries for the team this year has been Ray Childress, all-pro defensive tackle for so many years. Got scoped last week in Los Angeles in his shoulder. Tried to play, but hopefully the guys like Gary Walker will be able to step up and play well in his place.
And there is the kickoff man, Al Del Greco, and Glenn Milburn. He's a guy to watch. Last week against San Diego, he ran back the opening kickoff 86 yards to set up Denver's first touchdown. He's having a big year, returning kickoffs and punts. Del Greco with a powerful leg hits into the ball, but not deep. Milburn comes up on it at the 15-yard line. He breaks it again and then steps out of bounds as he crosses the 30-yard line and gets close to the 35. As we look at John Elway come out with the Denver offense, rated 4th in the NFL. Zimmerman, one of the best left tackles in pro football. They've taken good care of John Elway for the most part. Terrell Davis has been the big story. The lowest paid Bronco, $119,000 he's earning this year. But one of the best runners coming in the 6th round of the draft. Miller has caught a lot of balls, 9 for touchdowns. Mike Pritchard, the other wideout. Rod Smith and McCaffrey will come in a 4 wide receiver set. And, of course, the terrific tight end is Shannon Sharp, again leading the NFL tight ends in receptions. Dropping the throw is Elway. Takes a look on the run where he's most dangerous, and Elway fires the ball, and then he is leveled hard just as he releases the ball. Coming up to get a shot on him was rookie Gary Walker, number 96.
And we just talked about him as being the guy coming in for Ray Childress. We're going to see good pressure here, kind of pulling John Elway out of the pocket. And really Shannon Sharp dragging across underneath, very well covered. Good pursuit by that Oiler defense.
Oiler defense, a lot of speed in that defense. Rated 4th, as we mentioned, Bob, with overall in the NFL, but only have 11.5 sacks. That's 2.5 less than Bryce Popp of Buffalo had starting today. They pressure the passer, but they haven't sacked him a lot. Terrell Davis, as they run blitz, is stopped cold by Henry Ford. And now we'll check the Houston Oilers defensively. Gary Walker, a rookie from Auburn, starting at left tackle. They really like the outside backers, and they'll soon be signed to new contracts, Robinson and Bowden. Dishman and Lewis, the corners. Lewis with 6 interceptions, an NFL leader. Blaine Bishop might be the best guy in that secondary, though. A small, strong safety, but he can take on the big tight ends. And this brings up 3rd down and 10 for John Elway and the Broncos on this opening drive. Elway stands in. He's got a man. That's Ed McCaffrey. And he dives ahead on a 3rd and 10 play. McCaffrey's ahead for a 13-yard gain and a Bronco first down.
Well, the difference this time is that John Elway had some time to throw. They brought a blitz on the outside, a little game up inside, but John able to step up in the pocket unmolested. You see him dropping the ball out to McCaffrey, just coming over the short little crossing pattern, wide open zone underneath.
Elway comes in with a 56% completion average, 86 rating overall, 16 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. They've only sacked him 14 times. As the handoff again goes to Terrell Davis, a guy who can carry the ball a lot, as evidenced by the 30 carries last week against the Chargers.
Well, you've got to figure that the Houston Oilers are going to be focusing on Terrell Davis, and mainly for this reason. Look at that, rookies this year. Terrell Davis leading the group of a great group of rookies that have really been productive offensively. 1,208 yards in total offense.
Said he didn't get the ball that much at Georgia because it was a pass-oriented offense with Eric Zier, the Cleveland quarterback, leading the way for the Bulldogs in those years. Elway on a rollout. On 2nd down, he throws a bit too hard. It's off the hands of Mike Pritchard. And again, it's 3rd and long for the Broncos. Joe Bowden covering on the play. It should be pointed out also, well, we'll let you take a look at this replay first.
Right, and one of the things that Jeff Fisher said, he goes, that the Broncos like to use the boot series. They start the play action one way, Elway boots back, usually gives them a little bit more time, but here just off the fingertips of Pritchard. Pritchard should have had it. You know, Elway really rifled it pretty good in there, but, you know, Pritchard has made those catches before, should have made that one.
Talking about Terrell Davis, Pat Bowlen, the owner of the Broncos, is going to sign him to a new long-term contract after the season. Get the numbers up reflecting his productivity as Elway stands in, runs out of trouble, dumps it ahead, and the ball is caught on a 3rd down play, and it might be a first down for the Broncos. Terrell Davis, going low at the ball, makes his 42nd catch of the year.
Well, great coverage deep. Elway had nobody open, and Terrell Davis, you're going to see, is just going to sneak out of the backfield late, trying to give John some help. But watch this catch down in the shoelace. If you talk about concentration with a guy in his back, right down low, good snag, and good power to fight for the extra yardage.
That was really a great extra effort to get that extra yardage and the first down, so the Broncos keep their drive alive. Elway to Davis on 1st down. Kenny Davidson, defensive end for the Oilers, reading Terrell Davis on the run all the way, and again it's shut down for a very short gain.
Good job by Davidson. You're going to see number 90 there just coming in unmolested. Great job of, well, you know, when nobody touches you, you should make the tackle, but sometimes when you don't get touched, you almost feel like you're in the wrong place and you start looking around, but good awareness in finding the ball carrier.
And they found him only a yard downfield. It makes it 2nd down and 9 as Davis now goes in motion. Elway fires. He comes in a bit high, shooting at one of his tight ends. And Blaine Bishop broke it up. Looking at Jerry Evans. Bishop's out of Ball State in Indiana. And he has come on this year to really stand tall as one of the best strong safeties in the league.
He really isn't, and one of the reasons he is you know, he's a little bit, you know, he doesn't think that he's that big. But he really flies around and loves to make hits. You're going to see this guy aggressively attacking not only the receivers in the pass game, but also in the run game. He knows it's imperative he gets up in the line of scrimmage.
Oilers are double covering Anthony Miller, who has 9 touchdown catches for the Broncos. Here's Davis breaking it for the moment. But on 3rd down, he is shut down at the 38-yard line of Houston. Number 50, Eddie Robinson, makes the stop.
Eddie Robinson, a little counter here. Little draw, sprint draw handoff. You're going to see Robinson just flowing. Good lateral movement to make the move. And that's one of the reasons they're working so hard to get him locked up for next year. Was going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of this season, but they had to make some moves to lock him up before everybody else started bidding on him.
Now Jason Elam, a good long-distance kicker who's having a big season. This is a 56-yard attempt. He hit it. Jackson Elam knocks it through from 56 yards out. He's now 23 of 27 on field goal attempts. 54 yards was his career best till then.
Well, a career best for Jason Elam, 56 yards. As Don said, 54 being the previous, but very excited. You can tell his reaction after he made it. He'd go, did I have enough legs? Yes.
Boy, a guy like this, Bob, wins a lot of games. 23 of 26 on field goals this year. And when you start hitting them from out there, I mean, you're putting your team way ahead of the odds.
And they catch a lot of grief when things go wrong, but it's times like that, they got to love it.
Now he kicks off, and a very dangerous return man, Mel Gray, is ready to take the ball for the Oilers at the 8. Mel Gray takes a big stick as he gets to the 27-yard line. As we look at the Houston Oilers, they cut a player who was designated franchise player a year ago, David Williams, and now Irv Eatman is in at right tackle. Chandler at quarterback. Very good passing numbers for Chris Chandler. 62% completions. Rodney Thomas and Chris Sanders, two productive rookies. Haywood Jeffries having another good year. 44 catches, 5 for touchdowns for Houston. There's big Irv Eatman from UCLA. He's been in the league about as long as you were, Bob.
Yeah, he's 10 years here. He played 2 or 3 in the other league.
On first down, Chandler with an offset backfield. One back looking to throw a timing pattern, and he comes in a little hot. It's Todd McNair, who's caught 50 passes coming in. As we look at the Oilers on defense, Michael Dean Perry, a 5-time Pro Bowler, playing very well at tackle, 5 sacks. Len Cadrez starts at outside linebacker, a former University of Houston player, as is the other outside backer, Aldridge. And in the secondary, Steve Atwater, still the knockout tackler at free safety. And Eric Thomas will come in to join those 4 as the nickel back. He's in there now on second down and 10. Rodney Thomas from Texas A&M breaks it. It's a foot race, and Rodney Thomas looks like he might win it. The race is on. Lionel Washington dives and gets him at the 1. Lionel Washington, a former teammate of yours, Bob Golick, with the Raiders, still has some speed.
He definitely has some speed. They love this guy in Denver, but right now the story, they're going to give the
touchdown, yeah.
Touchdown to Rodney Thomas. What an amazing run, and this is all Rodney Thomas. 74 yards. Good blocking here, locking up the defensive line. But look, there really wasn't that big a hole. He really just found a nice little crack. You're going to see here Lionel Washington at the end trying to lay out to make a play. Grabs him at the 5. No, he looks like he may have been down at the 1-yard line, but momentum carrying him in. The referees giving him the touchdown. Great run by Rodney Thomas.
Was it? Just turned the corner. Upon further review, well, there is none now, so he gets 6, and Del Greco makes it 7, and the Oilers answer the opening drive of the Broncos very quickly and take the lead. It's a 7-3 Houston lead on a sensational run by Rodney Thomas.
Business is about as predictable as the weather.
The newly restyled Toyota Corolla. We're looking forward to tomorrow. By American Express. By the Norelco Razor for our closest shave ever. And by AT&T, your true choice.
Here's the touchdown run, Bob, and they look like they get him.
Here, not even close. Both knees down, basically dragging the momentum, dragging him in the end zone, but not going unnoticed by head coach Mike Shanahan of the Broncos, telling the side judge, you know what, I don't think that was as close as you think it was.
Rodney Thomas, who was a high school All-American at Groveton, Texas, before playing for the Aggies at A&M. His biggest play of his rookie season. He's had some good ones. Here comes Glenn Milburn again. Another short kickoff, and Milburn turns it upfield and again gives the Broncos fairly good starting position as he gets it out to the 30-yard line. Now, while we have a moment, we're going to switch to New York and to Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, down in Jacksonville, here's how the Bengals beat the Jaguars today. With 17 seconds to play, Jeff Blake to Carl Pickens, touchdown from 5 yards out. Pickens, league-leading 15th TD catch of the year. The final, 17-13, Bengals over Jacksonville, Don.
Thanks, Greg. And that, incidentally, the run by Rodney Thomas was the longest for an Oiler in 12 years. Moriarty had an 80-yard run back in '83. First down for John Elway as he fires up the middle to Pritchard. Incomplete. And with that final in, here's how it looks in the AFC Central. The Bengals inching a bit closer to the Steelers, who will be going later today against the Browns at Cleveland in renewal of really one of the classic rivalries in the NFL. It could be the last time those two teams will play at Cleveland Stadium. You'll see it on many of these NBC stations.
Holding, 69, offense, still first down.
Now, Mark Schlereth brought in as a free agent from Washington to kind of shore up that offensive line to protect John Elway. One of the things that Mike Shanahan had said was last year John Elway got hit way too much. We had to bring in some talent, some guys, some veterans who could protect him.
Elway hit less this year, and his passing numbers building as the season goes on. There's another strong arm throw, and he hits the great Anthony Miller, who turns it upfield. And in a 1st and 20 play, Anthony Miller's ahead for a gain of almost 26 yards before Darrell Lewis brings him down. It's a first down for Denver.
And that's one of the first times that a Denver Bronco wide receiver has been able to get open. John Elway really having trouble early in the game finding open receivers, but Miller right over the middle being chased by Chuck Cecil, just got a lot of yardage. And you know, Chuck Cecil just not the fastest guy out there. He'll come out and flat out stone you, but he's not going to run with you too much.
Well, they picked him up playing at free safety. On first down, Elway takes a look, hands off, and Davis looking for gaps. There's not a whole lot there. He did work himself ahead for almost 4 yards. The guys to watch in the Denver receiving corps, though, are Anthony Miller made his first catch of the day then, and the tight end Shannon Sharp. Between them, they have 93 catches now this season, 12 for touchdowns. And they've been doubled on every play.
Right, and they know, and people know going into these games, they knew who the targets are. Sharp, Miller, Pritchard is a good accessory guy to go to when you start doubling the main receivers.
They tried to get Pritchard a bit earlier, skipped off his hands. He could be the guy now. Yeah, we had somebody leaving early. It looked like outside linebacker Eddie Robinson left early as Anthony Miller outruns the secondary. You talked, Bob Golick, about Chuck Cecil not being able to stay with Anthony Miller. Not many people can. But there are penalty markers down. The Broncos are indicating that it's against Houston.
Offside, number 50, defense, it's declined. Touchdown is good.
Eddie Robinson was offside, but quite understandably, the Broncos will decline that and take a 50-yard touchdown play.
And we had noticed that they hadn't been blitzing. Eddie Robinson being one of their blitzers here, just leaving a little early, but you get a look here at Miller. You're going to see him break off. He's going to get in the secondary with help from the safeties. Chuck Cecil just biting up hard on the underneath pass, and Miller just pausing and walking past him. I mean, it wasn't even close. Jeez.
I tell you, he went by him like he was a parked car,
yeah.
like me jogging. The only thing I pass these days. Parked automobiles. As the extra point is now up and good by Elam, so early on, we have a track meet at the Astrodome. It's 10-7, Denver.
Term burned by Anthony Miller for a touchdown.
Boy, he was really burned. They isolated him one-on-one, and Miller blew by him. A 50-yard scoring play for the Broncos as they take back the lead. Here comes Mel Gray for Houston. A lot of people with meanness in their heart coming down to get Mel.
Well, they were coming with a blitz on this one, and they were locking up man-to-man. Chuck Cecil, see the bottom right-hand corner. They're bit hard on something. We don't know. Normally, you can expect to see a mistake there. Well, they'll bite on an underneath receiver and then have a deep receiver run past them. There was nobody underneath them. Sorry, Chuck. Don't know what you're looking at on that one.
Free safety has to be the last line of defense. Usually it's one of the fastest guys out there. But Anthony Miller was a 9'2", 100-yard dash man and 10, 200 meters. There's no chance. So Cecil even to get close to him, and now Chandler drops on first down. His ball is batted back and almost intercepted. Michael Dean Perry making a big play. He's made a lot this year in his first season with the Broncos.
Well, they brought him in because they just needed some size. They needed some aggressiveness up inside. He makes a move to the outside, and he's not a real tall guy, but obviously getting up high enough to make the play. But the one thing, as the season's progressed, they've felt that he has just gotten better and better. He had an injury early, but his penetration, his explosion off the ball is without compare.
Well, as you mentioned, Bob, he's been to the Pro Bowl 5 times, and he's having another Pro Bowl quality season. Second down and 10. The Oilers have the worst per carry average in the NFL, only 3.4 yards a rush. That's why they're throwing virtually every down. As Haywood Jeffries makes the catch out close to the 29-yard line. A second down play, but he only got about 4. It'll be third down and 6. Ray Crockett made the tackle on him.
Well, one of the things that happened with Chris Chandler early in games is they try and shake him up. Here you're going to see big old blitz. A lot of guys coming, getting in the face. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got about 7 guys coming on Chris Chandler right there. He gets it off hot to Haywood Jeffries, who, in most cases, is going to be his possession guy.
Denver's defense has been a lot better this year, allowing only 18 points a game. It's held 3 opponents this year to no touchdowns, including the Raiders. Chandler looks, fires hard, he makes his strike, gets it to Frank Wycheck, and he is ahead for an Oiler first down out to the 43-yard line. Atwater made the tackle.
Well, Frank Wycheck came open early. Chandler finally spotted him. You're going to see him on the left side of your screen. But Wycheck, as he rifles the ball into Frank, really is a guy that they use off and on. A few weeks back against the Cleveland Browns, he just exploded and became pretty much their primary receiver for the day. But when they decide to go to him, he is a guy that really knows how to find an open zone.
As he just did there, a big first down catch on third down. The pitch back goes to Rodney Thomas. Again, he turns it upfield and gets some plus yardage after it looked like he was caught. He's the man who earlier broke the 74-yard touchdown run.
Well, the one thing we talked about, too, with that Denver defense is they're really working at penetration. They brought in Michael Dean Perry. They brought in James Jones from the Browns to get penetration, forcing Rodney Thomas to cut back.
Last week against Kansas City, as you know, Bob, the Oilers did not, the Broncos didn't permit any sacks. There's offensive line taking care of Elway, but Chandler is wary of this pass rush of the Broncos because he's throwing on quick drops every down. All timing patterns.
All timing patterns, and what they're trying to do is disrupt them. They're showing guys. We've got 5 guys coming here. What the Broncos call a zone dog. They'll blitz a guy on the outside to match him up against a running back who sits in for protection, and they'll drop off one of the interior linemen to get back and cover one of the underneath zones.
Well, they'll be in the zone now with third down and 8 coming up. Chandler with a deep drop, gets some time, lofts the ball, and what a play by Frank Wycheck. You talk about his good hands, and were they ever on display there as he goes up over the defender? It's a first down play.
Well, this time the Broncos only coming with 4 up front. The good offensive line for the Houston Oilers giving Chandler a nice pocket to throw a 20-yard shot. And look at that. I mean, perfectly thrown right over the linebacker to Frank Wycheck. Great catch, great concentration.
And the Oilers drive on, trailing in the game 10-7. A week ago against San Diego, Denver jumped out to a 21-0 lead. Later led 24-7 and then held their breath, winning on a field goal in the closing seconds. Rodney Thomas running hard, and he takes it inside the 35-yard line. Thomas, a third-round draft choice, off to a fast start today.
Again, good penetration by the Bronco defense. This time James Jones making a nice move as we look at Rodney Thomas's numbers. As I said before, Jones and Michael Dean Perry brought in from Cleveland. And one of the good things about that is those two had developed a chemistry between themselves, working together with Cleveland for a number of years. That really helps in their transition to this defense.
That whole thing was kind of surprising. The Browns would let him go. 2 really foundation players in their defense. This time Todd McNair has time to do nothing but get eaten up as Shane Dronette and Alan Aldridge, an outside linebacker who played at the University of Houston, make the stop in the backfield.
Well, they just lined up and they blitzed up inside, brought everybody, just totally messed up any kind of blocking scheme, broke down, and not even a chance for McNair to make any kind of a gain.
Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, making the defensive calls. Third down comes up. And penalty markers are down as looks like a dead play. We have a sacked quarterback as Aldridge comes through. Glenn Cadez with him, and Cadez is going to be credited with the sack. Shane Dronette running him out of the pocket.
I was very surprised they didn't blow a whistle on that one.
Yeah, it looked like that play where Boomer Esiason got leveled by Bruce Smith 6 weeks ago.
Well, you're going to see him
Offside. Defense. The middle of the defensive line. Still third down.
But we're talking about, I mean, this is how some of these quarterbacks get hurt. Guys break down because they think, hey, you know, the play started, we're offsides, we're not going to go through with it. If they don't hear a whistle, a lot of times these guys don't even block. They'll stand there. A lot of quarterbacks getting hurt. Chandler very lucky to get out and get away from a big shot on the inside, that's for sure.
And he's had a lot of problems with injuries this year. As Johnny Greer, our referee, has another meeting with his officials, stopping the clock with 3:29 to play. In the first quarter, it's a 10-7 game. The Broncos are in the lead. They led 3-0 on a career-best 56-yard field goal off the opening drive by Jason Elam. And then the Oilers came right back on a 74-yard touchdown run by Rodney Thomas. And then a 50-yard touchdown pass for the Broncos, Elway to Anthony Miller. It's been a big play game. Oilers need one now. Third down and over 10. Long ball. Man is open. Touchdown, Houston. Chris Sanders, the rookie from Ohio State, in the end zone for a 6th time. This game's a highlight reel, Bob.
This is incredible. And I tell you what, Chris Chandler, you got to give this guy so much credit. They came with a blitz, bringing 5. Aldridge coming in underneath. Michael Dean Perry getting a shot on Chandler late, just as he threw the ball, but good concentration. Chris Sanders, who we've talked about as a rookie, who has really made some big plays, going to making a nice catch for a touchdown. But tell you what, the concentration of Chandler to get that ball off when all those guys coming in his face, and Chris Sanders catch, beautiful offensive play for the Oilers.
And a lot of Denver fans may remember Chris Sanders as a great high school player at Montello High School in Denver before he went to Ohio State. He was a track champion in Colorado. Man, a punishing hit delivered on the payoff throw as the NFL on NBC continues.
As we take another look at the 36-yard touchdown pass, Chris Chandler. Michael Dean Perry with a nice little move inside, a blitz by Aldridge. Chandler taking a shot, but Chris Sanders just getting position on Lionel Washington, able to hold that inside position, and Chris Chandler leaving the ball inside. Lionel Washington really couldn't make a play for the ball. All he could do is try and make the play on Sanders and strip the ball away.
Boy, his track background show there, his speed and his jumping ability. He was also a high jumper. As right now we have the run back by Glenn Milburn, and he's to the 21-yard line. Tuesday nights jam-packed on NBC. First, all new Wings and News Radio, then a full hour of Frazier. This is really a must-see Frazier. Niles' wife kicks him out, and now he's Frazier's roommate. That's NBC Tuesday. You're talking about Chris Sanders, Bob. He personally almost won the Colorado High School Track Championship. He won the long jump and the 100 meters and the 200 meters.
Right, and one of the reasons that he feels that he was drafted in the 3rd round and not higher was because in the spring he was actually involved in track and really didn't have the time to concentrate on some of the scouting things that needed to be done for the NFL.
Now John Elway with a very good play fake, freezes the defense, and Elway with a beautifully timed throw right on the money. 15, 16 yards downfield for a first down to Mike Pritchard.
And he really did. He threw it into Pritchard, who was being worked on by Darrell Lewis on the outside, covered on the inside by Blaine Bishop, but really makes a nice break to come back for the ball on the outside. Working up against Darrell Lewis, who's been playing very good ball.
Yeah, Darrell Lewis having a terrific year. As mentioned, 6 interceptions so far. Elway hasn't thrown many this year, over only 7 interceptions, and he's thrown 17 touchdown passes. 1 today. Here's the handoff, and Tyrone Davis takes it across the 35-yard line. Yeah, they're reading Tyrone most of the way, Bob. He's not getting a whole lot early. 2-yard gain. Michael Barrow was the stopper, along with Gary Walker. A big play day, a highlight reel game. Elam with a career-best 56-yarder. Rodney Thomas for the Oilers, a 74-yard touchdown run. Anthony Miller, a 50-yard touchdown reception from Elway. Chris Sanders, a 36-yard score. And that's how it stands now, with the Oilers back in the lead, 14-10. Elway stands in against the blitz. The toss over the middle isn't for very much, as Glenn Montgomery and Lemansky Hall both come in and make the stop on Shannon Sharp, who has his first catch of the day, his 54th of this season.
Good blitz as they bring number 24, Steve Jackson, on the outside, but you're not going to rattle John Elway. John is going to stand in there as long as he can. He is one of the coolest-headed quarterbacks you're going to find playing the game.
He's carried a franchise for all 13 years. Now in his 13th year, 35 years old. The NFL's most valuable player back in '87. 4 times a Pro Bowl player, over 40,000 yards passing for John Elway. He fires a strike up the middle of the field, and the ball is taken by Ed McCaffrey, that rangy wide receiver from Stanford, and he's down to the 45-yard line of the Oilers, and they're hitting hard after the whistle, it looks like.
Great, and McCaffrey's just a very good possession receiver. He's not a guy that's going to burn you with speed, but watch him as he just kind of sneaks back. He's just sitting there sneaking, just sat between the zones. The linebacker's locked up. And what's one of the important things on a 17-yard reception, one of the things about John Elway, when he starts moving out of the pocket, your linebackers start to worry, is he going to run? And sometimes they forget to remember that they're going to get back into and to watch their zones. McCaffrey wide open.
We've all done that, forget to remember. Here is a run now coming from Aaron Craver, a 230-pound fullback, a former Miami Dolphin. He's down to the 35-yard line. A good gain on first down of 9 yards, and that could do it for the first quarter of play. And a big play quarter it was, as the Oilers, an underdog on their home field, hold to a 14-10 lead as the NFL on NBC continues.
Hey, Red Dot.
Our set, double tight ends. He rolls out, fires the ball. Connection is made to Shannon Sharp. He's another great player that the Broncos got pretty well down in the draft. Actually, a 7th rounder when he came out in 1990.
And has been one of the big play guys. But like we said here, he is a big part, especially coming to the tight end position in this boot series that Denver likes to run. They bring everybody in play action one way. John bootlegs back, and they drag a guy like Shannon across, and it really becomes a reaction play for the Houston defense to try and chase it down.
There's so many looks this Shanahan West Coast offense gives you. They'll run a whole half of football without running the same play twice. Hand off to Terrell Davis. He's inside the 30, and that gives us a chance to go back to Greg Gumbel in New York. Greg?
All right, Don, at Cleveland, Neil O'Donnell and the Pittsburgh Steelers on the scoreboard again. This is a 12-yard touchdown pass to tight end Mark Bruner with the extra point. The Steelers now lead Cleveland 10-0. They're just underway in the second quarter. Don?
You know, it's interesting the way the Steelers had that sinking spell in midseason, Bob, and now bounced back to being one of the preeminent teams in the AFC again.
It was almost inexplicable what happened to them, but they've really bounced back strong.
As the handoff goes to Davis. On second down carry, he'll be ahead for a couple of yards. Third and about 4, stopped by Michael Barrow and Chuck Cecil. I think one of the reasons that Pittsburgh struggled, they really had to adjust to the loss of some very key players, like the tight end Eric Green, who went to Miami, Pro Bowl player, as a free agent. Then the running back, Barry Foster, was cut. Rod Woodson out for the season from the secondary. They had to make adjustments, and they've done it under Cower and are back to being a very good football team.
Plus, without Barry Foster, Bam Morris, their other running back, didn't seem to be as effective. So they lost 2 running backs in effect when they got rid of Barry Foster.
That's an interesting point. You see that a lot over the years. Guys seem to do better in tandem. A lot of runners, when they were paired with another standout runner, both had their best years. Ryan Habib moved a little early.
Now, Habib, as we said before, we talked about this offensive line for the Denver Broncos. They have really built this up with some veteran players, bringing in Habib and Gary Zimmerman from Minnesota back in '93. They bring in Broderick Thompson as a free agent from Philadelphia, and then Mark Schlereth from Washington this year, all veteran players. And Denver right now with 3 penalties totaling 20 yards. Houston, no penalties yet, still playing clean ball.
Clean ball, and they have the lead 14-10. Elway with a deep drop, fastball down the middle, and Shannon Sharp had it and lost it. You don't see that often. Usually when he gets his clamps down, and it's over. Blaine Bishop running stride for stride with him.
Well, one of the things that John's going to hate about this when he sees it later is that Pritchard had broken it on the right side of the screen, had broken outside pretty much unmolested, and Shannon Sharp was the guy that was being covered underneath and over the top. But again, Shannon Sharp is he normally catches those balls. He is not going to drop those too many times.
Got 87 passes last year. His 55 already this season with 2 today. Here is a 48-yard field goal by Elam. He hit a 56-yarder. That would have been good from 65, I think, but he's wide. It's no good, and Elam apparently injured his leg, and he kicked the ball. Blaine Bishop might have gotten into him here. Yeah, he gets hit after he gets it away.
It's got the sky to the game. Going deep.
It's everywhere you want to be. The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call now and have Domino's deliver the ultimate deep dish pizza by halftime. Because when it's gotta be deep, it's gotta be Domino's.
Jason Elam talking to the officials as he just missed a 48-yard field goal try and then got his leg taken out from under him after he kicked the ball.
Right, Blaine Bishop came with a strong rush from the outside, but after the ball was kicked, ran into Elam's leg. Now, as far as I understand the rules, that's roughing the kicker. There should have been a penalty on that call, and I think Elam was pleading his case.
With a good case he had, but to no avail, as always. And the handoff now goes to the elusive, dangerous Rodney Thomas, who's already broken 1 for 74 yards and a touchdown today. Report from the sideline is that Elam is fine.
You know, these guys concentrate on kicking that ball, and they're not watching. Most other players, you're aware of guys around you coming at you. As a kicker, you're so focused on that ball and where it's being placed in the kick, you don't normally see these guys coming in, so the risk of an injury is very strong.
Right now, it's back to the run for the Houston Oilers and back to Rodney Thomas as he is taken down by Alan Aldridge at the 46-yard line. That's going to bring up 3rd down and about 3. Rodney Thomas with some handsome numbers here, Bob.
So far, and you know, we see 5 rushing for 84 yards, but the 74-yard run is the one that really set him off on that one. And you know, we see they brought him in, let him run as a rookie, a little risky, but with Gary Brown's injury, he was the guy, and really has shown them that he's developing quickly.
Now we'll see what they go to on 3rd down and about 3. It's a long ball. Timing beautiful. The connection is made as Chris Sanders, who caught the 36-yard touchdown pass, beats the defense. Penalty markers are down, and it would appear to be against Denver. That was a 33-yard play if it goes. It is against the Broncos. Play goes.
And what a throw and what a catch. You know, we talk about Chris Chandler, but and what he's done, but amazing ball right there just over the shoulder. I mean, it couldn't have been any more perfect. And as you heard, it was 12 men on the field. The Houston Oilers doing well even against unnatural odds.
You can play with fewer than 11, but not more. So Coach Shanahan, who has designed a big play offense, is looking at one on the other side of the ball today from Houston. Chris Sanders from Montbello High in Denver with 2 catches for 70 yards today, 1 for a touchdown. Oilers lead 14-10. To the run. Rodney Thomas seemed to lose his footing as he shot into the middle of the Denver defense.
Well, whatever Rodney Thomas is getting for him now, even though, you know, since that long run, it's really helping the passing game because he's getting enough. He's cheeking away at the armor enough of that defense to have the linebackers respect that running game. You see, and also the safety, you see Steve Atwater coming up to make a play on that run. So they're respecting that run game enough to really affect the way the pass game works.
And now it's 2nd and 8, which would seem to be a passing down. Timing throw out to the flat. They get the ball. Frank Wycheck heads down toward the goal line. Doesn't get in, but he's close. This guy's making some plays. A veteran from Maryland, a former Redskin.
Well, Wycheck, you're going to see coming in motion. He's going to get manned on by Steve Atwater, number 27, who's right there to make the play. But Wycheck with a great little body twist just to throw Atwater's body off, and nice play to knock him out of bounds. But great body control of Frank Wycheck and shaking off that tackle of Atwater.
Very sure-handed Wycheck. They've thrown to him 3 times, all in traffic. He's gotten all 3 big plays, and now the Oilers look to extend their lead. 1st and goal from inside the 2-yard line. Broncos stack the run. Marion Butts, a relatively new acquisition of the Oilers, a former San Diego Charger and later New England Patriot, where he did nothing. In for short yardage plays, he's stuffed by James Jones.
There's another guy we talked about in those running back combinations. When Rod Bernstein and Marion Butts were working together in San Diego, they were an incredible running back tandem. You separated them. Bernstein spent some time in Denver, didn't really develop. Marion went to New England, did nothing. So when they work together, they have much better. Here they're hoping for him to pound out some yardage, tweaking up the defenses.
When you were at the Browns, you hit Biner, and the handoff is good, and in for a touchdown goes Marion Butts. And the Oiler fans, as their season winds down and maybe their franchise winds out and heads to Nashville, seeing a big offensive show today.
And Marion Butts isn't a fancy guy. He's just a guy that is going to get you, pound out some yardage. Right there, just running through tacklers. Got about 4 or 5 guys, got a hold of him, and he drags them 5 yards deep into the end zone. Jeff Fisher very excited that they're getting the production out of him that they had hoped. They knew he wasn't a fancy guy, but they hoped that he'd give them some power to the running game.
He gave them just what they were looking for, that short yardage power, good for a touchdown. Now the extra point is knocked up and through by Del Greco, and the Oilers are surprised. 21-10 leaders the NFL on NBC.
Subway. Now that's a sandwich. And by Compact Computer Corporation.
Marion Butts on the payoff end from a couple of yards out, his first touchdown as a Houston Oiler, and it gives them a 21-10 lead over the favored Denver Broncos.
Yeah, Marion Butts very excited about his contributions right now. Been a little limited up to this point.
You've run headlong into him a few times, haven't you, over the years?
I'll tell you.
Glenn Milburn, that sprinter speed, zooms out to the 28-yard line. Next Sunday, the Oilers head into Pittsburgh to play the Steelers, and a game that you'll see on many of these NBC stations. Neil O'Donnell is the trigger man for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're out in front of Cleveland right now, 10-0. And Cordell Stewart, the sensational former Colorado Buffalo, a guy they use so many ways. Interesting to see what they'll be doing next week with Cordell Stewart. They play him all over the field. Here's how the AFC Central looks at the moment. Cincinnati a winner earlier today at Jacksonville, and the Steelers are winning at Cleveland. Now John Elway looks to get his team back in the game. Up the middle he throws and makes a connection out to the 35-yard line to Jerry Evans, and he's taken down by middle linebacker Michael Barrow.
Well, right now John's got to do that. He's got to get some sort of offense going. He's got to bring it down the field. He's got to control the ball. That's the way that he plays that game. That's the way his offense works. see total yards the first quarter. Amazing yardage for both teams. Houston's dominating the second quarter so far.
Now a penalty marker could be for delay of game is thrown in. And so that'll set the Broncos back. Mike Shanahan not pleased. He's got trying to overcome a longtime nemesis of the Broncos, and that has been their great play at Mile High Stadium and their inability to win consistently on the road. It's the same case again this year, Bob. As you know, they're 5-1 at home, 1-4 on the road. And trailing today. Now, there's no infraction. They pick up the flag. Shanahan and Fisher, the opposing coaches, old friends and former 49er assistants. 9 of the 30 head coaches in the NFL are former assistants with the 49ers. Wow, must be a good program out there.
They're doing something right.
Elway stands in. Long arm out. John Elway. He's got Pritchard. And the great move by Pritchard gets him more yards and gets him into the end zone. But wait. Holding against the Denver Broncos. It's coming back. Big Henry Ford was about to get Elway, and they had to tackle him. A 65-yard scoring play in this day of big plays is called back.
Holding, number 69, offense. Still second down.
Well, Mark Schlereth, who had one penalty already today, you're going to see him, number 69, in the center of your screen, working up against Kenny Davidson. As Davidson works past him, you can see him kind of locking up and pulling him down a little bit. You're allowed to get your hands into the guy's body, and even though you're not supposed to, even hold on, as long as within the framework of the body. Once he gets past you, you got to let him go. But these guys, you know, their job is to protect the quarterback. They don't want Elway to get hurt.
Well, you're better off tackling somebody's going to get a clean shot at him. Here's Elway dropping again against the big rush. The Oilers with only 11.5 sacks, and they force Elway to trigger an errant throw. So the defensive front of the Houston Oilers getting some pressure on John Elway.
And the Oilers showing blitz, like you're going to see on the left of your screen. They're bringing people up. They're showing John blitz. Then they only come with 4. But John, one of the strong things that John has always done well has been to throw the ball on the run and throw it well. This pass, totally errant, way off target.
Oiler D kicks in, ready to rush at Elway. Third down, and the Broncos need 14. Elway stands in, whips the ball. Look at the catch downfield by Anthony Miller, coming back at the ball. Last time he had his hands on it was when he broke away from Chuck Cecil for a 50-yard scoring play.
I'll tell you, when you talk about John throwing a bad pass, you know that that's not going to last long. This guy is an incredible quarterback. Watch Miller just break down between coverage, between 3 guys as they close. And John, with that, still at his age, still rifling that ball in quick enough before the defense can close.
An amazing story, John Elway. For 13 years, he's carried this franchise every step of the way. 3 times to AFC championships. As you, a former Brown, remember.
You didn't have to bring it up, Don.
Not fondly. That's the drive. Who can forget the drive at Cleveland Stadium?
Of course, the next year was the fumble game, but both games, John, very instrumental. And, you know, that's what's made him great. You know, he is so cool under pressure. And especially at the end of the game, 2 minutes left behind, you know, he just has this ability to pass on that poise to the rest of the guys in his offense.
Elway sets his team on 2nd down and 8. Elway throwing off his back foot against a big rush. The ball floated precariously close to a possible interceptor.
Yeah, good rush up front. John with an opportunity to hit an open man, but as you see, good pressure. 5 guys coming. Number 91, or excuse me, 71, Craig Vesey. Oh, excuse me, Evans.
Hey, they're getting a lot of guys through. There's a pressure from all 4 front men. They're alternating some defensive linemen and They're all giving the Denver blockers a hard time as Elway again is forced with a 3rd and long. He needs 8. He loves Shannon Sharp here, but they've been doubling him all day. Elway takes a look. He gets away somehow. Looking downfield. He fires at Shannon Sharp. It's intercepted. And a penalty marker comes in. Shannon Sharp might have been bumped. He's right over there listening in on the officials. It's a very big development here in this game. If it's a foul call against the Oilers, it'll be a 1st down, but the Oilers are cheering. Here's Johnny Greer to tell us.
There is no infraction on the play. The quarterback was out of the pocket. 1st down.
And the quarterback was out of the pocket for a good reason. 56, Michael Barrows working from the end with a good rush on Elway, chasing him out.
The first turnover of the day, and Houston has the ball. John Elway just throwing only his 8th interception of this season. He's really been under fire, though, in this game. A lot of pressure from the Houston pass rush. Now the Oilers, with the interception, take over the ball, holding to a 21-10 lead. 2nd quarter. Chandler, he's been hot. Fires downfield. Stays hot. And the guy he goes to again is Chris Sanders, the rookie from Ohio State.
And he's utilizing Sanders a little bit more than he has in the past. Sanders has been the big play guy. Jeffries being the possession guy. Here, Sanders being more incorporated into the 1st and 2nd down operation of this control offense.
Interesting, Bob. The Oilers coming in with a 24th rated offense overall. Looking like the 49ers so far today.
I was going to say, not showing that today, that's for sure.
Gary Brown gets his first call of the day and responds nicely on 2nd and short. He busts ahead for a gain of 12 yards.
Well, Gary Brown going out of being injured early in the season is what prompted Rodney Thomas to be put in. Gary Brown back from injury again, and we were told that he would be splitting time with Rodney Thomas. They got to get him out there. They got to get him some snaps because he is a guy that not only has some speed to get to the outside, but as you can see, he's also kind of a strong-looking guy. He can power a little bit on the inside.
As the other guy's been having a big day, Rodney Thomas, as Brown stays in the lineup. 1 back set. Broncos aligned to blitz. And the play is whistled dead at the snap.
False start on the quarterback.
Chandler pulling away before the snap. False start on him. It'll make it 1st and 15 from midfield.
You just see him lined up, and everybody's got the snap except for Chris Chandler. The ball not moving, Chandler moving. You always wonder, you know, there's just so much stuff going on in the quarterback's head as he looks out over the defense, seeing how the defenses are rotated, seeing if anybody's starting to blitz, seeing the fronts. It's amazing sometimes that he can keep all those things straight, but that's why they get the big bucks.
If they get him, and good to be tall. Chandler's over 6'4", so you can see with all those people running around in front of you. Here's a throw over the middle. And the catch is made down at the 44-yard line by running back Gary Brown. Got 6. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
And just a little short play action to Gary up the middle. Nobody fell for that, but Gary just settled down inside. And right now, even though the big plays have been working in the passing game, looks like Chandler wants to establish some sort of a ball control offense and work it slowly down the field.
Britt Hager was in on the tackle as Chandler sets his team with a 2nd and 9 call. Swing pass to Gary Brown. 2 Broncos are there. Ball on the field. It might be Denver's. It is a recovery by the Broncos. So now we have turnovers each way. James Jones put all 300 pounds in that ball on the field and got it back for John Elway in the offense as the NFL on NBC continues. Back to live action after the double hit on running back Gary Brown of the Oilers. The subsequent fumble, the recovery by Denver. Last time Denver had it, Elway was intercepted. Now he hands off, and a good run from Terrell Davis. He breaks it. The race is on. Terrell Davis has a length lead, and he extends it into the end zone. And the Broncos roar back into this game. 60 yards from scrimmage.
Well, they, in the running game, they have been have everything given it to him deep in the backfield, letting him read the hole and then slash. This run, a much quicker hitting run. He hits the line of scrimmage very quickly. The defensive timing was off, and man, he just slashed through that hole. And then once again, and unfortunately, our friend Chuck Cecil, the man that had to the last bastion of defense to chase him down, was just not up to the task.
As he's now moving about very close to 1,000 yards in this his rookie season. 10 carries today for 80 yards. He's up to 960.
Well, we'll see what set this up. The throw to Gary Brown, Britt Hager, and Eric Thomas hitting Thomas's helmet, hitting the ball, knocking it out of Gary Brown's hands, giving the possession of the ball to the Broncos. And here we see the quick hitting handoff to Terrell Davis, and just great blocking.
Gary Zimmerman cleaned a couple guys out.
Not only that, but Shannon Sharp really got in there and mixed it up with some guys too, but Terrell Davis, nobody was going to catch him.
Here's the guy that turned it over. Then soon after, his counterpart, the running back for the Denver Broncos, Terrell Davis, broke it in. As now Terrell Davis has scored 8 touchdowns this season. He has over 960 rushing yards. A good 6th-round pick. About as good as they get.
Really is, and we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Gary Zimmerman.
Yeah, he really did.
Acquisition from Minnesota back in '93, really throwing a beautiful block to open that up for Davis.
Terrell Davis was the 21st running back taken.
Let's go!
Well, he came from a college system that in his senior year really got away from the run and became very pass-oriented.
Yeah, right, because of Eric Zaire. Mel Gray is the return man for Houston from his 5-yard line. Across the 30, and he's all the way out to the 35-yard line. A 21-17 game here in Houston. Oilers in the lead. Now let's find out about the rest of the league as we go back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, Don, at Cleveland, a fired-up Browns team today, but the Steelers just too efficient so far. Neil O'Donnell, 37 yards to Yancey Thigpen inside the 5. 2 plays later, Bam Morris took it in from the 1, and Pittsburgh leads Cleveland 17-3 as they approach 2 minutes to play in the first half in Cleveland, Don.
Thank you, Greg. As we have the Houston Oilers setting up on offense, holding to a 4-point lead. Chandler, who's been working off quick drops, feels the rush, buys some time. Man alive, what a play. Chandler is leveled. Michael Dean Perry got a full load on him. And does this play, goes that a catch? They looked like he signaled a catch. It was absolutely a spectacular play. Haywood Jeffries came over to the near side of the ball. Apparently they're going to bring it back, ruling he didn't have both feet in. And there's also, it looks like a penalty marker out there. We've had 2 picked up, though. There's a mystery man throwing penalty markers.
Well, Chris Chandler, first of all, really just trying his hardest to get away from the rush up front between Jones.
We have illegal touching of a pass. The receiver went out of bounds and came back in and caught the pass. That's a loss of down. 2nd down.
Wow.
It looked like Haywood Jeffries, and he was pretty much camped out on the sideline as Chandler made to try to get the ball out to him. He must have stepped out, come back in, obviously, from the... But here you see the rush. Jones and then Michael Dean Perry coming in late to wrap it up. And it looked like as Chandler lands, watch him, he grabs his wrists. Watch, he came down, landed on his wrist, and then he grabs his arm. I'm going to have to keep an eye on Chris to see how that the hand or the arm holds up.
Well, he's had some elbow problems, and he might have aggravated that, but he's hanging in there, and now he drops to throw on 2nd down and 10. Shooting low, incomplete at the 45-yard line. Looking at Chris Sanders.
There is going to be a roughing the quarterback on Michael Dean Perry.
That's what the call is, and it'll be a 1st down for the Oilers.
And Michael Dean knew it after he made the hit. You're going to see him right in the center of your screen, make a move underneath as he beats Irv Eatman. About 2 steps later.
Roughing the passer, number 95, defense. 1st down.
Well, Michael Dean showed that he was upset with the call, but if he didn't think that was a close one, he wouldn't look at the referee in the first place. He had an idea after he made the hit that there may have been a flag on that one.
And the flag results in a first down as the ball is moved out to midfield. There are the backup quarterbacks for the Oilers. Will Fuhr to the left and Steve McNair, who
we probably won't see till 1998.
$28 million of waiting time. Rodney Thomas, who got a break after running so well early. They put Gary Brown in, but Brown, after the fumble, is back on the bench. And Rodney Thomas, who has a 74-yard touchdown run, is back on the field.
You know what set this up? The cadence. The cadence. He was given a real hard cadence, and he got the ends both to jump. Now, when you get the guys twitching like that, the defensive linemen to twitch, they have a tendency to rock back on their heels because they don't want to lean and jump off sides. That allowed the offense to really get a good push in that defensive front.
On 2nd and 3, they get another big push from the offensive front this time, and very close to a first down as the ball is taken to the 41-yard line. It'll be just short. 3rd and about a yard.
Well, one of the things that they've been concerned. Actually, there's two things that the Oilers are concerned with: depth problems. Offensive line, they're a little shy. They released David Williams earlier this week, which leaves them really low on offensive linemen. They've got to be very aware of injury problems there, and also defensively. And the defensive line has really been decimated with injuries, starting with Ray Childress, Anthony Cook. Some of these other guys have been nicked and out, and so they're really thin on both lines.
Ray Crockett shaking off a stinger on his arm. Houston has converted all 4 of its 3rd down tries so far in this game. Bob, in your 14 years in the NFL, who was the best defensive or offensive lineman you played against? Some of them.
You know, I'll tell you what. You've got Mike Webster out of Pittsburgh, and as we talk about the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game today, maybe being the last of that rivalry again. So he was probably the best one I've ever faced.
Well, he's good enough to go to the Hall of Fame.
There you go.
That's good. Houston. Don Criqui with Bob Golick. And the Houston Oilers in the lead in this game. How important is it in Denver? Well, Shannon Sharp, their great tight end, said, this is the pivotal game of our season. We have to win it.
Well, it's got to be right now. They've got Kansas City and the Raiders ahead of them. They're chasing from behind. They really got to get on this last drive, the end of November through December. Very important for any team who wants to have any kind of input in the playoff scene.
Marion Butts gets the call on short yardage, and he delivers the short yardage play, and it's now a 5th consecutive 3rd down try that succeeded for first down yardage.
Well, when they brought Marion in, they said that there were similarities between this offense and the San Diego offense, so he didn't need much time to adjust to the changes here. But basically, when you hand off like that, I don't know how different it can be from team to team.
Long ball, man is open. Touchdown, Oilers. Chris Sanders.
Oh.
How did the Colorado Buffaloes let this guy get away to Ohio State? Lionel Washington, who's been a terrific corner for a lot of years, mostly with the Raiders. Looked close, but it's a 35-yard throw, and really a perfectly arced throw by Chandler.
Well, you know, Lionel was right with him, and, you know, Chandler obviously is a speed guy who can really work the outside. Lionel running with him looked like he might have had a chance to make a play for the ball, but as they got to the end zone, it looked like Lionel's feet kind of got tangled up, and he fell down, giving Chris Sanders the chance to make the grab.
Now Del Greco looks to build the lead again. He hits the extra point. And the Oilers stunning Denver early. It's an 11-point Houston lead.
And you're going to watch him man-to-man. Sanders on Washington. Lionel trying to keep up with the speed guy. But watch here at the end as he goes to make a play for the ball. Trips up, goes down, giving Sanders a TD.
And he is a great young player. The NFL on NBC continues with the Oilers kickoff. If you like touchdowns, this is the place to be. The Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Here is the most recent big play.
Well, no pressure up front by the Bronco defensive line. They've got to get pressure to shake Chandler up, but you're going to see the end here. Right at the end, Lionel Washington just getting his feet kind of tripped up, not allowing him to make a play on the ball. And Chris Sanders with another beautiful reception. This guy has just had an amazing rookie year so far today. 4 receptions, 113 yards, 2 TDs. You know, between him, Joey Galloway in Seattle, Frank Sanders in Arizona, there have been some incredible wide receivers coming out for a rookie year.
Galloway's unbelievable. This guy is too. And Del Greco's going to wear his leg out, kicking extra points and kicking off as Glenn Milburn tries to break one now for the Broncos on the return. And again, he weaves his way through traffic, but there is a penalty marker that could set this return back. As Johnny Greer, illegal use of hands on the return team with 1:13 to go in the first half. Shanahan's team, we could be setting the stage for one of those Elway comebacks. They're going to need one. At halftime, it's the Domino's Pizza NFL and NBC halftime report. Greg joins coaches Mike Ditka and Joe Gibbs with scores and highlights. Lots of stuff happening today, including the continuing demise of the Miami Dolphins, considered by many the AFC preseason Super Bowl favorite. They're now 6-6 and in danger of not going to the playoffs at all.
Well, there's no offensive demise here. We're talking so far with both offenses, 523 yards of offense in the first half.
Like the Oilers in their heyday with a run and shoot. From the shotgun, Elway fires up the middle. He makes a connection with Shannon Sharp, who's quickly taken down by Joe Bowden. Elway will be working quickly now here with this final minute. The Broncos have their full complement of 3 timeouts remaining. Elway is absolutely at ease in these situations. He tries to catch him with a pass rush, and he gets Terrell Davis into the defense for a gain of only 2 yards. And the Broncos, are they going to take a timeout? They are not. It still continues. Now they finally take one with 40 seconds left.
Well, I tell you, I don't understand what they were doing there. I thought as soon as they ran the ball with 3 timeouts, they would have called one immediately. John was waiting for a signal from the sidelines.
Shanahan, just 42 years old. He was 26. He was one of the offensive coaches at an Oklahoma national championship team. They say his playbooks, Bob, look like the Denver phone book. I mean, he's got...
Well, I had him for about 4 games with the Raiders.
Oh, that's right.
When I came in...
What went wrong there?
Personality conflicts? I don't know. He was there. I came in, and he was there for about 4 games when Art Shell took over on that Monday night game we had against the Jets. But, you know, I read all that. I was new there, so I didn't really know what was going on. The articles I read later said that there were some personality conflicts between himself, Mike Shanahan, and Al Davis, which shouldn't surprise anybody.
Denver now with 3rd down coming up. Elway and the Broncos have converted 4 of 7. They got to get the ball downfield, though, with 40 seconds left. Here's a rush. Elway gets rid of it somehow. Terrell Davis with a one-hand catch. Ball on the field. It rolls out of bounds. So that saves the Broncos a timeout. Stopping the clock with 35 seconds to play.
John Elway still down. Oh, no, it isn't Elway down. Henry Ford, number 92, who got a shot on Elway. And there really seemed to be some mix-up on the snap count. You see some of the guys moving, some of them not. Henry Ford, fortunately, his guy didn't move, and Ford getting a clean shot on John Elway.
With 35 seconds left and ruin the punter on the field, the Oilers could be in position for a long field goal try or more before halftime. Their kick returner Mel Gray standing at his 34. A well-hit ball by Tom Rowan. He booms the ball all the way back to the 22. Huge punt as Mel Gray is absolutely blasted as coming down to get him on the play. And there was a fumble on the play to the Broncos have it. Alan Aldridge came down and got him.
What a shot, Aldridge. Not only that, but he knocked the ball loose. Broncos.
Look at the guys on the field, Bob. Looks like a grenade went off.
You see here Mel Gray starting to bring it back. He avoids the first. You'll see from the right side of your screen, Aldridge is going to come in and just stone him with a forearm across the neck. 58-yard punt, but it really gave the the coverage people a great opportunity to come down. Watch here, Aldridge again. Forearm and arm right across the face of Mel Gray, knocking the ball loose.
And two other Oilers are down on the field. Two of the kick return blockers. John Henry Mills is down, and Blaine Bishop is also down. Bishop is still flat on his back. That's John Henry Mills, a big running back, a big linebacker.
And he's been a huge part of their special teams here in Houston. In fact, we talked to him yesterday, and you know he goes, just remember, tomorrow Pro Bowl Skills Mills is what he called himself. So. As we watch the hit one more time, and Aldridge just bring him with an arm across the upper body of Mel Gray. I mean, what a hit. I mean, it's great shot. You go home today, he's going to sleep well tonight. No matter what else he does today, he's going to lay in bed tonight, and he's going to say, man, did I stone Mel Gray.
Yeah, he had Mel Gray sleeping briefly right then. What a player, Mel Gray, a three-time Pro Bowl returner with his years with the Detroit Lions. Oilers really thought they could improve their offense with Mel Gray because a great kick returner and get your offense good field position.
And that was really the one and only reason that they brought him, or the primary reason, I should say, for them to bring him into camp. So you see Mills, John Henry Mills being helped off the field. He does have that wild personality that you need to play special teams. It always amazes me in watching teams, some that succeed so well and some that don't. I don't think it's so much the schemes that they use as it is the personnel. You've got to have the wild, reckless players like John Henry Mills that'll go down and make the big plays.
Well, just the nature of his position, a linebacker, I mean, you expect kind of a wild guy as opposed to the mellowed-out offensive centers. They go to a little shuffle up the middle, and Terrell Davis is taken down. With 20 seconds left, the Broncos signal for and are allotted a timeout. They already have a 56-yard field goal from Jason Elam today to open the scoring. Then he missed a 48-yarder. But Shanahan would like to get this in the end zone. Gary Kubiak to the right of Shanahan in the blue Broncos jacket. He's really the guy giving credit for Terrell Davis because he was the guy at the scouting combine before Shanahan had his whole coaching staff intact. Was still in the formation stage, and Kubiak spotted this guy. He tested very well, and they really couldn't figure out why somebody didn't get him high, and he kept slipping in the draft. And finally, Kubiak said, he looked awful good to me. We better take him.
Well, he ended up going, what, the 21st running back in the draft?
21st running back in the last draft. 6th round. But they said Shannon Sharp was too small when he came out of Savannah State to play tight end. He was a 7th rounder. Elway, who's been going to McCaffrey, brings McCaffrey in motion. He stays in to block. Elway's got time. End zone throw. Anthony Miller has the ball picked. Interception by Houston's Kamur Barnes. So they've now picked Elway twice in this game. He had only 7 in the season coming in.
Did you see an excited Kamur Barnes? He knows. He goes, give me that ball. I'm going to take that home, get it painted up, put it up on my mantle. Working up against Anthony Miller as John Elway with his strong arm thrown back across the field. But Barnes, great coverage right in front of Miller. You see Mel Gray, whose fumble set up that touchdown.
I'll tell you, we're going to have some second half, though, Bob. This shootout's going to continue. 28-17. Houston in the lead. Probably content now to go to the locker room with their winnings, an 11-point advantage over the favored Broncos. The Domino's Pizza, NFL on NBC halftime report is coming up, and they'll down the ball. And so, a surprisingly good crowd considering the state of the franchise, which might be moving, gives the Oilers a standing ovation as they go to the locker room. 28-17, Houston in the lead. We'll be sending you to our NFL on NBC studio in New York after these words from your local station.